Hi everybody, hope you're all keeping safe and well. I have a lady with me at the moment, and okay, uh, she says her name is Marianne. Okay, she's telling me that she's from Nebraska in the United States, and she's telling me that she was abducted by ETs, and she's come today to tell her story because she said that nobody believed her. Okay, right, okay. She's telling me that this happened when she was 15 years old, and it happened in 1957. Yeah. Right, okay. She's saying that it was, she'd been to school and she'd done everything that she normally did, and she did her homework, and she went to bed early. She felt really tired. Um, she felt as if somebody had been following her for a few days before this happened. And she's saying that she went to bed early one night. And yeah, right, okay. She's saying that she felt a presence of a group of people around her, and she, um, when she opened her eyes, there were six. She didn't know what they were. She said that they looked like children, but there was two taller. There were four smaller ones, and two tall ones, or taller ones. Yeah. Right. Okay. She's saying that all of a sudden the blankets and bed sheet came off. She said the next thing I was going through the air. Um, yeah, just take your time. Okay. Right, okay. She's saying that she was taken in. It was like she'd been sucked up in the air by a bright light. These are her words, not mine. And she's saying the next thing I was laid on this table, and they put a okay. She's saying it looked like an invisible sheet over her face, and it yeah, right, okay, yeah. She's just letting me visualize what she's seeing. Right, okay. It's like a gossamer um, thin sheet. It looks like either a silver or a very very pale light bluey colour. It's virtually invisible, and it looks like rubber, and it's put over her face, over her body, and she can't breathe. And they cut a hole in where her mouth is so she can breathe. But the yeah, right, okay. She's on like it looks like it just looks like a metal tray hovering. It's a table, but it looks like a hovering table basically. And there's like trays near her with instruments on, and she was very frightened, and these beings was looking at her, and they it looks like steam being poured on her face and on her body, and this was preventing her from. She tried to scream and she couldn't, and there were no noise coming out. She says, and all of a sudden, she says it was really quiet and she couldn't feel anything. It was right. Thank you. She's telling me that her body feels like it was paralysed. Her arms felt as if they couldn't come off the bed. She was really heavy. And one of the taller beings had it looked like a large needle, about the width of a biro pen, but around 18 to 20 inch long. And I can see this item and they're putting it through her navel. And she says, I couldn't feel anything. She says, the fear that I could feel, she says, I couldn't do anything about it. They did something to, they injected her with something just below her clavicle. And she's saying everything just went dark after that. She's this room that she was in. There was nothing. There were no windows. There was nothing. It looked like a laboratory. And apart from this hovering-looking table and the trays with the instruments on that looked like there was hovering. She says, when everything went back, she all of a sudden woke up and it was early morning. Right, thank you. She's telling me and showing me a clock that she had, and it said 4:15, and this 4:15 time, she knew it was early morning because it was dark outside, and she could hear, the noises, that the wind slightly breezy blowing. She woke up sweating. It just felt as if she'd been punched in the stomach, around her navel area, and she thought it was a bad dream. She realised that was a red mark on just underneath her clavicle on her chest, and she tried to go back to sleep, but she was so frightened she went downstairs and had a drink of water. Dismissing it as a bad dream, she went back to bed and fell into a deep sleep. She woke up late. She woke up late for school, and she didn't feel that very well. It was like she had a really bad flu. So she stayed off that particular day. And right, okay. She told her mother, June, that what had happened, and her mum just says, oh, it's just a bad dream. It's just a bad dream. She says, no, don't worry about it. When she was outside she went outside to take some air, and she didn't feel hungry at all. And a policeman in a car, he thought, a light blue car with a white roof, a really big car, came around and was driving past, and she started talking to him, and she started telling him what she felt. She's saying that this sheriff, or this police officer's name, was a man called Bubba Jim, and she says that he laughed and said, oh, you're having a bad dream, and dismissed it. She tried to then report it. She says, no, I really want, and he says, you're making it up. He didn't want to know. And it couldn't dismiss it because it was in the back of her mind, and the pain in the stomach and all that, just underneath the clavicle on her chest, was all very real. She kept going on and dismissing it, but she couldn't stop, and it kept happening and happening and happening. And it got to the stage where it stopped happening for a while, and she was in. Right, thank you. She says this is gone forward now to when I was 30. She says, and nobody believed me, and everybody at school, everybody at college laughed at me when they heard about this. She says, and it just got to the stage where I just had enough, and she started drinking before she went to sleep, and right. All right, okay. Right, okay. She's saying that she was dreaming that her Auntie May had come to see her and said, "Come on, hold my hand." And she'd had a lot of alcohol. And when she realised what had happened, she passed into the world of spirit. Her heart had stopped. And her Auntie May said, "Come on, we'll take you home." And yeah, she says, nobody ever believed me. Everybody thought I was, these are her words, crazy. She says, and I wasn't crazy. I didn't make it up. She says, and I am telling the truth. But she's glad that she's come forward today and told her story. She says, I was so frightened. And you don't get over that fear. You learn to live with that fear. She says, and I learned to live with that fear. She says, until I couldn't take any more. She says, I didn't like the alcohol, but she says that was the only way I could get to sleep. And she's saying that, yeah, right, okay. She said that was the only way I could sleep. She says, but I had to drink more and more and more to get to sleep. And in the end, it was too much for her heart. The stress of it affected her heart. And she's saying it, I just couldn't, I didn't want to live with it anymore. And she was then taken out of her body and took over to the other side, or taken over to the other side. And she just feels relieved by telling her story, because the police didn't believe her. Her mum didn't believe her. Her dad didn't believe her. She says, I never got on with my dad anyway. She says, but he just, nobody believed me. And she says, I had to live with that pain and that what had happened to me. And it happened again and again and again. She says, it didn't happen every night. But she says, it started happening more or less the same time every month. And then it went down to every couple of months. She says, and then all of a sudden, she says, it were every other week. She says, and then it were every week. She says, and I just, nobody ever saw these beings. She says that she feels that she was taken into a craft. But she says, I never saw it. She says, all I saw was a semi-consciousness and a bright light and this table. She's glad it's over. She's glad she's told the story. And she is pulling away now. And thank you, bless you. Okay. She's saying all that guilt and all that stress and all that disbelief has been taken away from her now, and she feels a lot lighter. And on that note, she is pulling away. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.